Hi there, I welcome you to today's episode where I'll be covering tips for a successful solo trip as well as the benefits of a solo trip. Moving on to the benefits of a solo trip. The first benefit of a solo trip is rest. You know, life is so busy, life is so hectic, there's just so much going on, there's so much to see, there's so little time, and it just can sometimes feel so overwhelming. As a mom, an entrepreneur, and a wife, sometimes it feels like I'm going in a vicious cycle of never-ending service to my kids, to my husband, to my customers, and sometimes I just want to hit the pause button, and it feels like if I do, then everything else will collapse. But at the end of the day, we all owe it to ourselves to have some time. So one of the wonderful benefits of a solo trip is getting some rest. The next benefit of a solo trip is to refocus. Sometimes stepping away from the vicious cycle of routines and all that helps you to get a better perspective on things rather than repeating cycles of the same things, doing things in the same pattern, and in the end just getting the same results. So a solo trip helps you to step away and gain some more insight and perhaps look at other ways in which you can perhaps do things a little better or more efficiently, because sometimes we are busy but we're not productive. Another benefit of a solo trip is learning, unlearning, and relearning. So you can use the time on your solo trip to learn new things. You can use it to unlearn some of the things that are no longer useful, and to relearn some things that maybe you might have stopped doing, but they were very helpful and they might help you in the season that you're in. Another benefit of going on a solo trip is spiritual growth. Like I mentioned earlier, one of my activities on my last solo trip was a whole day specifically dedicated to spiritual growth, where I spent the whole day just watching and listening to different sermons and teachings that were in line with what I was going through, and that really gave me the time to reflect over my life, the situations that I was facing, and how to just slow things down and put things into perspective and lay them back down to God. I use the solo trips to just basically break away from routine. Sometimes prayer can be routine, and sometimes even fasting can feel like it's just a routine where you don't really actually feel anything in particular. But taking the time off, taking the time away helps me to actually read through the Bible, listen to sermons, and to actually try and see where exactly I might be missing it, where exactly there might have been lessons that I might have missed, and maybe as well applaud myself where I've done well, and of course in a humble way. You can also use this time to basically fast. But like my very first solo trip, I literally used it all just for prayer and fasting. The whole time that I was there, I broke my fast when I came back home. So you can use this for learning as well, and unlearning and relearning some things that maybe you may have overlooked, or some things that you didn't even know you had. Because when you're around the busy city life, there's a lot of things that just kind of pass you by. And so the solo trip is a great time to slow things down, to actually take in the word, and to I also use it particularly to also read some spiritual books that also give me more insight on how exactly we operate as human beings, why we do the things that we do, how we can connect with our God and things like that. Another benefit of a solo trip is mental wellness as well as self-awareness. I use my solo trip oftentimes to help me with my mental wellness as well as self-awareness. I use that time to assess myself, to see where I stand, to check where my values and my priorities are maybe colliding. For example, I value being a full-time mom and giving full attention to my kids. At the same time, there are times where I'm also trying to, earn a living and bring money to the table. And then there are times where these two will collide, where I'm at home full-time, but at the same time I'm on my phone the whole time, trying to respond to customers, trying to not miss out on any messages. And so I have this sort of tug of war where the kids are calling at me, and at the same time I don't want to leave my phone in case I miss a potential client. So the solo trip helps me sometimes to bring me back to perspective, to bring me back to a point of balance, to help me reschedule my routines, or to basically put things in perspective. Because if you keep going and going and going with time, it gets overwhelming with time. You start leaving out the important things in your life because you haven't had the time to step back and actually do a bird's eye view over your life and to figure out what is important and what is not important. Another benefit that I love the most about a solo trip is getting to know yourself better. I feel like most times we go through life almost as if we're robots. Who you are will often define ourselves, or we will introduce ourselves by what we do and not necessarily who we are, because oftentimes we don't know who we truly are. It's either we believe we are by what other people project onto us, or we oftentimes will say that which sounds better or sounds acceptable, but we truly may not know who we really are unless we've had the time to spend that quality time with ourselves. Because if truly someone asked us who we are, aside from the things that we do, we often go blank because we have attached our identities to what we do more than who we are. So I find solo trips to be another way of discovering myself, my likes in the season, because as we're getting older, our preferences over time change. The things that kept entertaining us back then may not be the same things that entertain us in this season in our life. So I find a solo trip to be another wonderful way of getting to know myself better. And lastly, the benefit of a solo trip helps you to have time to ask yourself why. Ask yourself, why are you pursuing what you're pursuing at the moment? Be it academically, be it career-wise. Why are you doing the business that you're doing? If you're thinking of having a child, why do you want to have a child? Why do you want to have another child? If you're thinking of getting married, why do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married to this particular person? Why do you have this person as a friend instead of that one? Or why are you trying to make these connections with these people? And why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to gain weight? All those things. And it also helps you to ask yourself, why are you failing to achieve those things that you want to achieve? How are you going to achieve those things? Who do you need to engage? Who do you need to talk to so that you can be able to successfully achieve the things that you want to achieve. So it's basically a time that you can give to yourself, a gift that you can give to yourself. It's a time where you can assess your life, where you are, where you're going, and how you want to get there. But all in all, a solo trip doesn't always have to be miles away. You can have a solo trip within town. It doesn't have to be for days. It can be for an hour. The whole idea is to just take some time off, to just refresh, get some clarity, to just put a few things in perspective, and also to, look into the mirror that we often don't want to look into, the mirror that reflects back some things that we have been avoiding for so long, but that have kept us in cycles that are not really getting us anywhere. So you don't need to break bank. As I said in the beginning, that you need to plan in advance. You need to decide when you're going to go, where you're going to go, and how you're going to get there. Some solo trips for me have been unplanned, in such that's why I'm saying that you don't need to go miles away. Sometimes it's even within town. Sometimes it's even just at home, away in your bedroom. It could be your own solo trip. But anyways, the whole essence is to get time where you can just look at your life and decide to make the necessary changes that can help you move forward, that can help you move towards your goals, that can help you get to the best version that you want to be. And that's it for today. Be sure to tune in every Tuesdays at 2 p.m. where we'll be posting new content, or rather new videos, sharing different tips and experiences here on the Entrepreneur Mom channel.